Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our live show. And you're watching Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. And I'm your Sam, your host. And let's deeply dive into today's topic that we are going to explore that is October 2024 Visa Bulletin. So, guys, if you're looking to understand how this bulletin impacts your visa application, then you have come to the right place. So, whether you are tuning it on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter, we are thrilled to have you with us today. And before we get started, let's bring on our amazing guest. And before that, let's quickly go through an important disclaimer. By watching our videos, you agree and understand that the information provided by our experts and attorneys, including comments and replies from users, is not legal advice. So, guys, use of information is at your own risk. Once again, welcome back to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. And today we are going to talk about 2024 October Visa Bulletin. That is out. So, what does it mean for you? We need expert insights for that. So, without any more delays, let's invite our today's guest, who is a leading immigration attorney and an expert in US immigration policies, Attorney Uma Mantravadi. Welcome, Uma. How are you? And we are so glad to have you with us today again.
Thank you, Sam. Good to be back with you again in a very short time.
Yeah, no worries. That's really great of you. So, Uma, let's directly talk about today's topic. Okay, let's be to the point on today's session. Can you just give
Yeah.
what are the key changes in the visa bulletin of for October 2024 that applicants should be aware of?
Okay, let's talk with the employment base, which is what most people are interested and concerned about, which is the EB1s, EB2, EB3, EB4, and EB5. And EB1 for India remains the same as the September bulletin. There is no changes. It's still at February 1st, 2022. So there's no change in that. And for the rest of the countries, it is current, meaning for South Asian countries like Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and all other South Asian countries in the world, it is current. EB1 is for those who are either multinational executives, they come under EB1C or managers, or they could be people with extraordinary abilities, which is the EB1A and B. So that is for EB1. EB2 for India is remaining unchanged. It's still at July 15th, 2012, whereas for the rest of the other South Asian countries, particularly, it is advanced. It is at March 15th, 2023. So, there is some advancement, and also China has advanced to March 22nd, 2020, just to give you an idea of that country. All other countries, the cutoff date remains at March 15th, 2023. EB2 is for people with master's degrees. People also file the NIWs under that, so even they come under the same category of EB2. There is not a separate one. EB3 for India has advanced a little bit. EB3 has advanced to November 1st, 2012, which is good news. EB3 and EB3 other workers, whereas for all other countries, it has come to November 2022, which is also a good news, like for countries like Sri Lanka, Nepal, Pakistan, all other South Asian countries. September bulletin was showing 2020, whereas the October bulletin has advanced to um, 20 November 15th, 2022 for the EB3, but EB3 other workers is still at December 2020. EB4 for all over the world, it is at Jan 1st, 2021. EB4 is generally for religious workers or widows who file the I-360. They come under that category. Just to give you the rundown, I'm just going through all of this.
All right. We got to know some basic updates regarding our today's topic. So, Uma, let's move ahead with the next topic that I would like to ask. That what can you say, Uma, that which categories have moved forward and which have retrogressed in the October Visa Bulletin?
I believe the EB3 for China has retrogressed to April 2020, but none of the categories have typically retrogressed. There has been advancement for EB3 other workers, EB3 for some of the South Asian countries, which was at December 2020. It's gone to November of 2022. So that's a good sign because October is the fiscal year for USCIS, and we definitely see some good changes. Most of the time, there's advancement rather than retrogression. I think we've only seen one retrogression, and that is for China.
All right. So let's see what happens. And Uma, let's move ahead with our next question that I would like to ask. That Uma, can you please tell that what is the significance of the final action dates and dates for filing in the bulletin?
Final action dates is the date if you, for example, have a priority date of, let's say, July 15th, 2012. If you're a EB2 from India and you have a date of July 15th, 2012, that means your 485 can be adjudicated and there is a visa available to give you a green card. But if your priority date is not July 15th, 2012, but it is somewhere in 13 or 14, the Chart B allows you to file if your priority date falls under those dates of the Chart B, you're allowed to file your 485, but you cannot get a green card because the visa is not available. You can file for the 485 for the adjustment so that you can get a work permit and a travel permit, but there is no visa available. Hence, you will only get a work permit or a travel permit.
Okay, thank you, Uma. Thank you for your answer. Uma, now I would directly jump into one of our viewers' question that we have received. Neha, she's asking that as a management consultant on an H-1B visa, I am eligible for an EB-1C green card through my employer. However, there is slower movement in EB-1C. So should I convert my H-1B to L-1B and then apply for EB1C or stick with my current H1B to EB1C strategy?
L1B is not eligible for an EB1C. It's only people in the managerial or executive capacity who can file for an EB1C. So L1Bs are not a managerial or executive. They are considered as people with specialized knowledge. So those people are not eligible to file for an EB1C. If somebody is told, what's her name? I'm sorry, I missed out the name. Neha. Somebody has told Neha that she can file a green card as an L1B under EB1C. She's wrong. So should she continue with the strategy of being on an H1? Possibly, yes, because H1, if you have a perm and an I-140 approved, you can have indefinite extensions of your H1, whereas L1B is only for 5 years. You don't get any further extensions.
All right. Okay. I hope, Neha, you got your answer, and thank you so much for participating as well. Next, we have Apple B. Uh, Uma ma'am, question on EB1 India. What is your take on possible movement in upcoming bulletin in near future? The dates have been stuck prior to 2022 since last 1.5 years.
We can only go by what the State Department gives us information. Sometimes we get some predictions from the State Department through AILA that this may move forward in the next few months. And there is a buzz that there is a possibility that EB1 for India can move forward. It may not continue to be stuck at 2022, is what we've seen in the last 1.5 years. That's correct. But they are hoping that we will see a movement forward for India under the EB1, not just for EB1Cs, but just EB1 as generally we are expecting to see movement forward. We're not expecting a retrogression at the moment as conveyed by the State Department. We have constant meetings with the State Department because the State Department is the one who issues the visas, not the USCIS. So they are the ones to tell us whether there are visas available, is it going to go forward or backwards. So they give us these information during our meetings with the State Department officials. So at the moment, that's what we've been told.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Apple B. Thank you so much for your participation. Uma, can you answer that? How does the Visa Bulletin affect the employment authorization and adjustment of status application?
Like we just discussed earlier, Sam, if they come under the chart B and not chart A, which is the final action dates, if they are eligible, how does it affect? They're eligible for the employment and the adjustment. Now, if they don't fall under the chart B also, they cannot file for the adjustment and the employment.
Okay.
So
All
it
right.
all depends on their priority dates.
Okay. That's good. That's great. Let's move ahead from our next viewer's question. Suraj. Hey, Suraj. Thank you so much for participation. He's asking, I'm a healthcare consultant with a pending EB3 petition. Does the October 2024 Visa Bulletin bring any positive changes for my category? And should I consider upgrading to EB2?
I don't know if he is from India. I just told you that EB3 for India has advanced to June 2000. I mean, sorry, that is the chart B I'm talking, has advanced to November 2012. So there is advancement in the EB3. I'm hoping your priority date is close by. I'm not sure. But if it is, there is some movement in the EB3 for India.
Okay. I hope Suraj you got your answer. For more clarity, you can contact Uma on the given number. Let's move ahead with Moni. I'm an IT consultant with a pending EB2 India petition. My employer is willing to downgrade it to EB3 due to faster movement. I'm concerned about the potential risks and benefits of downgrading.
Well, there are really no risks involved.
She,
Back in 2020, I believe, or 2019, when the EB3 for India was moving faster, we were downgrading a lot of EB2s to EB3s, and a lot of people were eligible to file for their 485s. Again, it's not that their priority dates were current, but they were eligible to file under the Chart B and get their work permit and travel permit. So, is there a benefit? Sure. And we haven't seen any risks involved. And if the employer is willing to do that, it's good. And we've done hundreds and hundreds of downgrades from EB2 to EB3 in the last so many years.
all right. Uma, actually, there's a continuation of Mooni's question. She also asked that should I accept the downgrade considering my current priority date and potential wait time in EB3? So, what are the pros and cons of downgrading and how will it affect my overall immigration timeline? What can you say on
I,
that?
I don't know her priority date. She's saying, considering my current priority date. But since I don't know her priority date, I can't tell what will be the wait time in EB3. Pros and cons we just discussed, and we gave the answer on that.
I think it would be better if we could know, Moni, what is your priority date. That will be easier for us to guide you. Okay, let's move ahead with the next viewer question. That is Gaurav Pandey. And he's asking, as a financial consultant on an L1A visa, I'm eligible for an EB1C green card. Can I file my I-140 and I-485 concurrently under the new Visa Bulletin? And what are the benefits and risks of concurrent filing?
There are no risks involved, benefits. Sure, you get the EAD and a travel permit. And if you're filing it currently, you may not be eligible to file the 485 because your priority date under even the Chart B is not current, so you may not be eligible. They're at April 2022 under the October Visa Bulletin. So all you can do is file the I-140, and whenever the Chart B allows you to file, you can file the 485 at that time.
All right. Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for your question. And okay, Appleby is also saying thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. We also thank you so much, Apple. That really means a lot. And let's move ahead with our next question that we have received from our today's audience, Aditya Joshi. So he's asking, what are the conditions for priority date retention, and how can I ensure that I keep my original priority date?
You never lose it if you filed an EB2 or EB3 and you have an I-140 approved with that date, you always get to keep that date. You don't lose it.
Aditya is also asking, additionally, what are the implications of switching employers on my immigration case, and how can I minimize potential disruptions?
That's a good question. I don't know how you can minimize disruptions. It's up to the employers. If they have a backlash against an employee, if they want to withdraw or revoke their EB2 or EB3 perm applications, there's nothing much anyone can do about it other than starting from scratch and filing the perm or labor certification for either an EB2 or an EB3. Yeah, you can always switch employers on your H1B if you're on an H1B and hope that the old employer doesn't have a backlash at you.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Uma, for your answer. And thank you, Aditya, also. Keep on posting as many questions as possible. And do follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and also on YouTube. Uma, let's move ahead. That what advice would you like to give to individuals those are affected by the changes in the October 2024 Visa Bulletin?
I mean, I would say those are the lucky ones if their priority dates are coming up as per the October Visa Bulletin, especially under the EB3 for India. People are desperately waiting for this to move forward. So if somebody is lucky, then you can get your green card hopefully in October of 2024. If not, then the frustration continues for those people who are not so lucky under the EB1, 2, or 3 if they are not their priority dates are not current. It's unfortunate. So, but there are a lot of people who are on H1 and their priority dates are at 2012. So my advice to them is if you have an employer who's a multinational company with a branch somewhere outside the US where you can go work in a managerial capacity and come back on an L1, and let's say you have a priority date of 2018 for your EB2 or EB3, and if when you come back on an L1A, if your employer is willing to file for your green card under EB1C, you can actually recapture your EB2 or EB3 date, which is at 2018, which now becomes current under the EB1 because it's at 2022.
Right.
I have done a bunch of those just this year, Sam, and they all also got their green cards.
Oh, wow.
They switched from H1, went out, worked for a year, came back on an L1A. We recaptured the EB2 or EB3 priority dates, which are at 2012, whereas EB1, the priority dates are at 2022. So they were able to get their green card.
Just in a minute.
Yes.
That's so good. I mean, Viewers out there, you should know that under Uma's guidance, you can get your green cards in a minute. Isn't it, Uma?
I wish it was a minute, but at least it's faster.
Of course, that would be.
Definitely not 15, 20 years of waiting.
Ah, sure.
And this individual came to us no, this year in Jan, Feb, and we just mailed him his green cards in end of August.
Oh, okay. And what
So
was the
within
year?
6, 7, his priority date under the EB2 was 2018 or
All
2019.
right, okay.
He came on an L1A. The employer filed the I-140. We filed the 485 for him. He
Mm-hmm.
got the green card because he ported the EB2 priority date into the EB1.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And with that, within 6, 7 months, he got the green cards.
Oh, again, a great
So,
example, I would say.
yes.
Oh, that's really good.
So this is my advice. Don't stick if you have an option. I'm not saying everybody works for a multinational company, but if you have an option where you can actually go do a job for a multinational company and come back on an L1A, that's the best thing for people from India because the wait is almost 20, 25 years.
Right, right. Okay, all right. I would just like to say that viewers out there, please contact Uma on the given number. That would be really great for you also, to have a right guidance. And I would just like to read out the contact number and the contact details. Contact Uma on 713-787-5297. Again, I'm repeating 713-787-5297. Email her on uma@mantralaw.com and surely and definitely visit her website mantralaw.com so that you won't miss the chance of working in US in your dream country, I would say that. Okay, so let's move ahead with our next question. Uma, what can you say for those waiting for visa numbers to become available? What are the best practices that they should actually follow during this period?
As I just talked about, people jumping from H1 to L1, those would be the options. Or if they think EB3 is moving faster, downgraded to EB3, that may be the options available for them. Or if they don't qualify for any of those, then look at EB5 if they have the money to invest in an EB5 regional center with 800,000.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Uma. Thank you so much for your questions and for your answers also. We really enjoyed this. All right. So we have one more candidate here. And thank you, James, for participating. And we'll surely take your answer. Can we have the email again? Oh, yeah, sure. Why not? I'm repeating the number. Uma's contact number is 713-787-5297. And please email her on uma@mantralaw.com and visit her website www.mantralaw.com. I hope, James, you got the details of Uma, and thank you so much for asking. Okay, so I think we have already covered our Apple question, but I think again she's asking one more question. Let's take this quickly. Ma'am, I am EB1C India with March 2022 priority date. If I were to change my job, what conditions should I make with my new employer to make sure when my date becomes current, there is no impact?
Generally, if you're on an L1A, you cannot change jobs to another L1 employer. You'll have to switch to an H1, and you can't do that now because the H1s are all gone for this year. You can only file for an H1 next year between Feb March, which is a lottery. And if she gets picked in the lottery, then you can get an H1 sometime in October, but you've got to maintain your L1A status until that period. Now, as far as your priority date for your EB1C, it's up to the employer if they want to continue with your EB1 or they don't want to continue. There's nothing much you can do about that.
Okay, and I think there's a follow up question as well. Can I have a gap between my employment and is there any risk? She's saying I'm on EAD AP.
EAD is not a visa status. It's just pending your adjustment, you just get an EAD.
All
So
right.
that's definitely, I don't know unless I talk to her or him in detail.
Okay, for that, I would just like to recommend again the details of Uma. Apple, it would be great if you could contact Uma as the number and the email ID and the website that we have shared just now. So, for that, I would just like to say that we have received a good amount of people participating in today's session. And Uma, again, it was really great having you. You know, today's show was so good, so quick, so active, and it was very important because viewers out there, they want to know the right guidance. All right, so we have got one more candidate's question. So it's just a request to take this one also. Um, sure, James, we'll take it. So am I in? I'm in Toronto and waiting to move to the USA. What can you do to help? Just this one.
Uh, well, if you're a Canadian citizen, you have options like TN, if you have an employer who's willing to get you on a TN, or if you work for a multinational company in Toronto and the employer wants to bring you on an L1A, you can come. The H1 option is not available at the moment because the H1 begins only next year. This year we are done for it. Next year, Feb, March, when the lottery is again announced. You can also come in if you're a Canadian citizen. You can come in on an E2, which is a business visa. So these are all the options. I wouldn't know what you qualify for, James, unless I personally talk to you and figure out what is it that you may be eligible for or you may qualify for.
All right. Okay. Thank you, James. Thank you for participating in today's session. And thank you so much, Uma. And Appleby, thanks to you also. Definitely, please contact Uma. And surely you are definitely going to achieve what you dreamt of from so many times. All right, Uma. So that thank you so much. And I would say that's a wrap for today's show. We have covered a lot of grounds on Visa Bulletin for October 2024. And I found that, I hope that today viewers found this episode a very helpful and a very important one. So, any last message, Uma, that you would like to give to our viewers before signing off?
Well, people do have options. One has to find out which option is best for them. And there is no blanket copy paste for everyone. So I always tell people, you need to talk to an attorney to find out for your own individual case, what do you qualify for? Do I qualify for an L1A? Do I qualify for an L1B? Or do I stick to my EB2 or should I downgrade it? What can I downgrade to? Can it be the same position, different position? So these are things that have to be discussed one on one with an attorney who's got, a lot of experience, who can guide you the right way to do it. And then once you've got that guidance, it's up to you whether you want to follow that or you don't. And also, I notice a lot of times, Sam, that people
Yeah.
do ask for advice, but don't follow through it. And then much later, I get an email from the same person saying, you know
Oh,
what, you told me to follow, but I didn't.
oh my
And
God.
I missed the boat or I did the wrong things. I get this day in and day out, Sam. So it's like me going to a doctor and the doctor says, you've got cholesterol and you need to take this medicine.
You're right.
And if the doctor has prescribed my medication, but I'm not taking it,
Mm-hmm.
I can only blame myself because I was given the advice, I was given a path, but I didn't follow it through. So again, I tell people taking advice alone is not going to help. If you feel confident with that individual, with that attorney, you feel that, okay, you're getting the right advice, I would definitely make that change and see. no guarantees in life for anything, but one has to sometimes take a chance, to do the best you can. Again, we may see that EB3 in the October Visa Bulletin is moving forward for India, which is great news.
Right.
We may see in November Bulletin it's moving forward possibly, or December or Jan. And then suddenly there can be a retrogression in EB3.
Yeah, right.
So if somebody has gone from EB2 and come to EB3 and found out there's a retrogression, they shouldn't be blaming anyone. You know, hey, we jumped from EB2 to EB3 because the visa bulletin was current and now it's gone backwards. So there's no one who can sit here and predict. I don't have the Aladdin's magic lamp where I can get the information. I wish I did, Sam, but I don't.
No, but I think your guidance is not less than somebody's magic lamp. That would definitely be that equal to magic lamp. If a person follows, definitely then only.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Uma, so I would just like to request you for our loving viewers, we got one more question that Sarada is asking that third, all right. Okay, so it's hello expert insights. I'm worked with a Desi consultancy till September 10th, and I sent a formal resignation on September 10th. He's not giving pay stubs and giving pay for 30 days and pay stubs after 60 days after many follow-ups. Now I got a full-time opportunity. I took that. He credited salary on 10th, and as I noticed resignation, he did salary reversible and threatening that he will make my resignation 2 months back and wanted me to status less. Oh my god.
Okay.
Now I'm sending mails for pay stubs and pending salary. He's not responding for any of my mails. I informed my vendor company and they don't know how to get the proof for when is my last working day with Desi Consultancy. Please help me on this. Needed help badly to save my H1B and want to sue this type of fraud consultancy a lesson. Due to his threatening, me and my spouse are sleepless and in very bad depression. Please help us. Thank you. Oh my God. What can you say, Uma?
Uh, I cannot do all the help here, Sam. I am very sorry to hear what this lady is going through. But if your employer doesn't pay you, you can definitely report this matter to the Department of Labor. And I am sure the Department of Labor will take an active investigation against this employer for failing to pay and also for threatening. They may even get fined. Who knows if there is investigation and they find that the employer is committing this type of fraud or any kind of fraud, not paying their employees, they may even ban them from filing H1s in the future. So, ma'am, you're more than welcome to reach out to the DOL. I'm sure their information is online. And first thing, go and file a complaint that you're not getting paid for the time that you worked. Of course, you've got to give them proof that you actually worked until the last day that you worked. I don't know how you're going to do that. At the moment, I cannot tell you how to do that, but you're more than welcome to reach out to me via email or by phone, and I'll be glad to see what else I can help you with. You're more than welcome to sue them, but more than anything, I would file a complaint with the Department of Labor.
Definitely, I'm also. I mean, obviously, this is a very bad thing that we gone through. But Sarada, I would just. I mean, what can I say? I would just like to say to you that please contact Uma because these are the problems that we can't directly discuss on the live show, right? You need a personal consultancy and personal guidance also. So please just feel free to contact Uma on the given number, email her also, and surely visit a website. That would be really helpful for you. And definitely, if any question, any query you still have, just freely contact our team. You can find, you can find also on our chat section. Please drop your query, drop your whatever problems you have. We are always here to help you out. And that's all. Thank you, Sarda, for your
And
question.
let me just wrap up something that uh, Ms. Sharada had asked, very similar to that. We've had situations
Okay.
in the past, and I was able to help a lady who was not paid for almost 6 months or 8 months.
Oh,
She was never paid, and we reported the matter to the Department of Labor. The DOL came and investigated. The employer was even banned from filing H1s, and it went as far as the employer not getting his citizenship. He
oh
was
my God.
not afforded his citizenship because this information was popping up each time in his background checks. I've had another employer who became a citizen, but every time he traveled, he was taken into secondary inspection by the CBP
Oh,
because of his failure to pay his employees in a timely manner. So every time CBP would take him, ask them question, because each time it's a different officer, and they would ask him questions saying, what do you do? Where are you traveling? They went through this harassment for almost 10, 15 years.
oh my.
So, as I'm just telling anyone who goes through this is not a very kind thing to do. If you're an employer, you need to pay your employees. Doesn't matter if you are leaving on a bad note, that's fine. You don't have to be friends for the rest of your lives. It's always good to maintain a relationship. But if you cannot, you don't have to, but at least make sure you pay your employees. Don't have this issue, you know. And if you do, it may come back and haunt the employer in the future.
Right.
So I just wanted to give that example, Sam, as I always do by
No,
giving examples.
of course, that's very important, I would say. That would be as good as possible. Because this is how people will relate and people will get to know that what is right for them, that what is the right way to consult, and to whom consult. All right, Uma. So that's great having you today. Huge,
Thank
huge thank
you.
you. Yeah, a lot of, I would say we have got today a great amount of engaging people today. And that's really good. That's really appreciating. Thank you to all our viewers for watching our show and for attending also. It really means a lot. And to you, Uma, definitely, we are always glad for you to attend our show. It's really, I would say a great thanks to you. And
My pleasure, Sam. Anytime.
oh, of course. Yeah, sure. So that's good. And to our lovely audience, thank you so much again. And please do like, share, and subscribe to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. And in case if still you have any question or any problem, then surely please write them in the chat section. And lastly, guys, if you would like to looking for a project placement or visa sponsorship, then please reach out to me on my email. That is sam@higheritpeople.com, or visit the website www.higheritpeople.com. And remember, we also sponsor H-1B visas and green cards. Thank you so much to all the lovely viewers. And thank you so much, Appleby. Also, I can still see you're responding, and that's really appreciating. That's really good. But soon we'll be coming with our next webinar. So keep in touch and keep watching Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. Thank you, Uma, and thank you to our lovely audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sam. Have a great rest of the week.
Sure, same here. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Consultant seeking a new opportunity? We offer job placement services for US citizens, green cards, EADs, and visa holders. We also sponsor various work visas like H1B, E3, TN, and green cards. 20 plus years of experience in the industry, exceptional employee benefits, highly rated by our employees, global presence with 200 plus recruiters and direct clients. Connect with us. Call us on the number 833-412-8472 or mail us at support@higheritpeople.com or visit our website www